You can use powdered reishi extract. I mix it in also with my kombucha. And having this at the end of the day does a really, really good job to really strengthen the digestion. It gets me ready to eat dinner, and also it keeps the mucus thing in check. Christian here, back again. In a short video, I want to share with you sort of my end of day routine. I try to have a nice rhythm to my day. And I remember when I was sick, like a dog with digestive illness, having a routine really matters. You can ritualize any behavior, right? So when I'm done and when I need to turn off devices, shut everything down, and I'll show you what I drink at the end of the day. This is my favorite fermented beverage. Now, if you're a member of the Pivot Protocol, you know what this is. And so I teach you how to make this beverage in there. It's called kombucha. Now, why are fermented beverages actually beneficial to your body? Why would you have one? Well, why is this good for you? Isn't that dangerous? Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, right? If it's strong enough to make you healthy, it's strong enough to make you sick too. The fermentation process means that the food is partially digested. When food goes inside your belly, it's being broken down by bacteria. And basically, that's the process. Bacteria outside your body have already broken the food down. Now, you have to do this in a controlled way. I'll show you how to make kombucha. This comes from a culture. Okay, so if you don't have kombucha, you don't know how to make kombucha, find out how to get some kombucha going. It's not hard to do. When I was sick and I discovered kombucha, this was a game changer for everything that was going on inside my body, because it does the one thing that's probably the hardest for all of you to do, and the hardest thing for almost anybody to do when you're sick and you have to recover your organ strength, is resting the spleen. Your spleen has to work all the time. It's the organ that really takes aging the hardest. Other functions in your body will go on just fine until you're 50, 60, 70 years old. But what changes is somewhere in your 30s, your digestion hits the peak, and your spleen is the key to this. And so if the spleen can rest, and I teach you how to do this inside, one of the ways that you rest the spleen is fermentation gives the spleen less work to do. Okay? This is one example of the kind of thing that you learn inside the Pivot Protocol that makes it so valuable. Fermentation takes pressure off your spleen. Can you overdo it with fermentation? Sure, right? Anything that's putting bacteria in can also cause problems. But if you do this in the way that I teach you, here I'm drinking this also with some powder. It's a powdered mushroom extract. Very helpful to know how to use powdered mushrooms. What kind of mushrooms give what kind of effects. The one that I'm using here today is red reishi. Why? Red reishi has really good effects keeping phlegm and dampness under control, especially in the upper body. Now, do you have to be sick with an upper respiratory infection to benefit from this? No, I don't have cough or anything else. I tend to get mucus in the back of my throat, especially when I eat all kinds of rich foods, right? Delicious foods that we love. But you keep it under control. And one of the ways that you do this, I teach you about, is to use powdered reishi extract. You can use powdered reishi extract. I mix it in also with my kombucha. And having this at the end of the day does a really good job to really strengthen the digestion. It gets me ready to eat dinner, and also it keeps the mucus thing in check. Look, if you want to take a nip of something too, a small amount of alcohol, especially before you eat dinner, especially before you have your big meal or a big meal, especially before any food goes into your gut. But a teaspoon, a tablespoon of alcohol. You don't need to be a lush, right, to really get the benefits of alcohol. In fact, if you're drinking sort of on a daily basis and you're not doing that in the right way, I give you some pointers on how to do this really in a much better way. So, how to benefit from alcohol instead of having your life turned upside down by it. Or I know a lot of people struggle with it. So how much alcohol is good for you? How much should you drink on a daily basis from a medicinal point of view? Okay, and how do you do that? And when should you do it? And how does it? How can you do it in a way that really strengthens and helps you? Okay, so I'll talk about that elsewhere. I won't repeat it here. But just mixing some red reishi mushroom powder, which I'll tell you how to get inside the protocol, and some of my kombucha, and maybe a little nip of Kentucky bourbon, because why not? It's 5 o'clock. And drinking this and feeling the strengthening effects, really benefiting all the organs, getting a good meal, having good digestion, getting another good night's sleep, right? This is how, bit by bit, you turn your body around. And so this is an example. This is one of the things that I really show you inside the protocol, that if you're not familiar yet with all the information, I want these videos to help you really make sense of what you're seeing. How do I put this into effect in my life? How do I apply what I'm learning from this guy, from Christian, into my routine? What is right for me based on what he's saying? Because the first thing you notice about the Pivot Protocol is I'm not just giving you a list of foods. Right? That's all BS anyway, right? If there was a list of foods, nobody would be sick. So there has to be something about finding out what's causing your imbalance, and that's what we're focused on mostly, and then we know the solutions for different imbalances. This helps your spleen. It benefits the liver and stomach. It also does, in fact, benefit phlegm and dampness, which also then gives your spleen a bigger rest, a bigger break. When you get dampness out of your body, when you get mucus and dampness out, you get a big benefit from that. Okay, and part of that is your spleen can recover. Okay, that's the kind of learning that you pick up inside here. So, you know, if you haven't gotten started on the, if you've done the phase 1 material and you want to know about masterclass and sort of, is this right for you? I'm giving you some ways to understand how you can apply this, right, to get the kind of results that you want. Am I saying to drink kombucha with red reishi? No. For certain symptoms, for specific imbalances, this will have a big, big effect, a big beneficial effect. And I'm showing you sort of how you think that through and then select the other solutions in the Pivot Protocol that may really help you as well. Okay? I hope that makes sense. I hope that provides some value for folks. Please send me your questions. Click below to get started on the Pivot Protocol Masterclass. Thanks very much.